every salon owner will understand when Jen says,
I have bought a salon.
she's bought a salon. I'm going to take my crown off, give it to you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I salon rising myself. I sat in the airport with my piece of paper and I drew my little salon and I wrote Jen Salon across the top and then I wrote everything that I wanted it to be.
If your mind is really clear on what you want, then it's like nothing else clouds it and it can be presented to you the way that you want it.
It's just reminding you that you can do hard things. That's all it is. It's just that it's reminding you that you can do the hard things to get there.
2 lessons in that. So A, Jen, people will help you speak up. And B, you don't have to do it on your own. Go to the people that can help you. Like, we think we don't need to do this.
I swear, if these people had Google reviews, they would not have jobs.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, the level of service from not a service-based industry is disgusting.
But there was an instant in that where I said to her, would that be okay for La Sorella? And Jen said, hell no.
Yeah.
And I said, so then what makes it okay for August?
I learnt that from you. I do not make those decisions based on emotion.
No.
I was not being driven by fear or excitement. It was purely strategic.
As every salon owner feels at times. It's a beautiful, terrifying, fucked up journey, but we're all here for it.
Hey, lovers, just a quick one. If you listen to us and you love us, could you please hit that subscribe button? I know it's a pain, but that little button means the world to us and our podcast and means that we can get more great guests on like we know you guys love listening to. So do a girl a favor, hit subscribe, and we would be so grateful.
We just wanted to say a massive thank you to our podcast sponsor, Kevin Murphy, distributed by Ozday, and thank them for being the most amazing brand partner for Salon Rising. This brand is truly incredible and we are so excited to work alongside you. Welcome back to Salon Rising, the podcast. I am the host today because Jen is my guest.
I was about to say, welcome, Samara.
Welcome, Jen, to
Thanks.
the podcast. Did I say your intro okay?
You forgot the inner sanctum.
Oh, shit. Welcome back to the Inner Sanctum, Salon Rising, the podcast. Welcome, Jen.
Hey, Sam.
So there's a lot been moving on. You guys will probably be able to have heard in different episodes where Jen's like, something's happening, something's moving. You're given a lot of teasers on different pages and stuff. So something's happening. Jen is not pregnant.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine what an announcement that would be? My poor husband.
But she has given birth to something. And every salon owner will understand when Jen says,
I have bought a salon.
she's bought a salon. I'm going to take my crown off, give it to you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd talk about it today because it has not been.
Oh, it has not been a smooth ride.
Jen bought a salon like 3 months ago. How long's it been?
I don't remember a time before this was happening.
Yeah.
It was really so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
So let's go back, rewind.
Why did you buy a salon?
I was like, okay, so you've got Salon Rising and you're doing your master's in business. And she was like, I'm going to buy a salon. And I was like,
I concede that perhaps I bit off a little more than I could
I was
chew
like,
at the time.
what? And you were like, yeah, it's time. So let's back it up. You were renting a chair. So you went from home to renting a chair.
Yes.
And then when you were renting a chair, you were like, I could do this.
Do you know what it was? I came in here one day and was doing an education day with the beautiful Charlene from Kevin Murphy, and there were a heap of freelancers in here when we were doing it. There were people from like salon groups and stuff as well, and we were talking about the rent that some people were being charged for their chair. And it was quite exorbitant. And I was like on my high horse, like, that is ridiculous. You need to be looking around. I said to this particular person, I'm like, if you're going to pay that much to rent a chair, you should just find yourself a space. And then I went home and had advisor's remorse where you're like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. perhaps I'm too out of touch. Oh my God, what have I done? So then I was like, I need to look into this myself and make sure that I've given this person like valuable advice. And then when I started looking into it, I'm like, the fuck am I renting a chair? I need to buy a salon. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
And I do, even with all the shit fight that it's been, I still do think it was the right thing to do.
Again, I'm going to preface this. This is not for everyone. If you rent a chair, this is not saying that you definitely should go and get a salon, because it is a lot more work, a lot more responsibility, a lot more stress, a lot more finances. Like, it is a lot more just to go and get a salon.
100%.
Because you've got to commit to the fact that you're going to build something. Whereas when you're renting a space, you can be way more flexible. So if you look in your values and you know that you like working less, having more time off, you like the flexibility right now where you're in your life, and you don't want to dedicate yourself to going stronger in your business, then it's not the right move. So we talk about your values.
And I was absolutely happy renting a chair. Like, nothing had happened there. I mean, and we've talked about this, like, there were some aspects of the space that were a little bit challenging that I was in, but you can find, I know some amazing freelance only co-working spaces that are just so incredible.
Yeah.
And
they have to be set up. So where you were working before was not a hairdresser, and it was set up as
a beauty space
and with hair put into it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing too, is nobody knows what a hairdresser needs other than a hairdresser within their space.
100%.
Like, it has to be so thought out. So even when we built La Sorella, like this 2.0, it had to be like where the mirrors are, where the placement is, where the chairs go, everything had to be real thought out. Otherwise it's really hard to work, and that's what you were finding.
Yeah. And once I saw what was out there and realized that I could do it, and I think I said this the other day to someone, I was like, I feel like, especially with the masters and stuff and this, I feel like this year I just had a lot to prove to myself.
Yeah.
I just tried to do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was I also thought it's great social proof for what we do at Salon Rising, to be like, I think sometimes people, and I mean this not in a judgy way at all, but sometimes people can be like, well, you're really successful. It's like, no, what you teach really works from the ground up. So we're going to prove that.
Just like, that's me. I got a best friend.
Yeah.
She's going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I think though you do know a lot as well, because you've been in salons for so long. But it's been nice along the way. Jen's like, all right, I'm in the budget sheets, and all right, I'm putting this away. And it feels nice for me to still be like, I love to help. So even when I have like team members that have left
even
me.
when I got like oh my God, I'm going to pay rent. My G thing. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when, like, you know, people have left me within the salon and still feel like they can come back and ask me advice, because it makes me feel valued and still needed.
Yeah.
And like that need thing is like, I want people to need that help. So I like to help. So it's really nice that, you know, I can be like, yes, that's the right thing. Make sure you put this away. And as you said, but I look back actually when you were talking then, and it's exactly the route I went.
I know.
And I just didn't, it was so long ago. It was like 15 years ago that, but I went and freelanced in a beauty salon that wasn't set up for a hairdresser. And at that time, the rent was cheap, but that time 15 years ago, it was expensive.
Yeah.
And when I realized I could be paying $100 more a week for my own space, I did the same thing. Exactly the same thing. That's how we got La Sorella.
That's exactly what it was like. And so I started looking around, and I'd found there was lots available. Like, there was lots out there, but everything was like, it's good, but like, it's good, but I don't like this, or it's good, but I'm not sure on that. Like, nothing felt like it was the right place.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like, everything's, but I just feel a little bit like, and it wasn't until, actually, so it got to the point where my husband and I were just like, maybe we just need to build one. Like, maybe we just need to find a space and build one. So then we started looking for empty spaces, and we found this spot which, like, it was a good location for us, but it was in an older, like, it wasn't an amazing building or anything like that. Anyway,
it's so much cheaper for anyone that thinks I can just chuck some chairs and floors and be done. It is so much cheaper finding a space that's already set up. Like, I think about what did I sell last Sorella original for like 30 grand. Like, there's no way you could set up a space for $30,000.
And I think too, I was really lucky because I had been in the background with the girl who had built the beauty space that I was working out of, from her being in a gutted space and seeing the whole like build. I knew how much that cost, and I knew how much things had gone up in the last few years to do a build. And so I was acutely aware of just how much it was going to cost us to do something from the ground up.
Yes.
And
even if it's simple, you know, exactly. Even for us, like when I bought the first La Sorella, we didn't keep it the same. We gutted. We pretty much, when I say gutted it, we didn't gut it. We painted it, but we kept everything that we had, and then we just developed over time. It was a really tiny little salon, and we developed it over time. But that's the only way. If I had to build that from scratch, I would have gone under straight away.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny. I was so we put an application in for this place to find out how much it was going to be. It was so ridiculously expensive for this tiny, like I could have maybe fit 3 chairs and 2 basins in, but probably just 2 chairs.
Near your house?
Not far.
Yeah.
And I was super disheartened. It was when we were down in Melbourne educating.
Yeah, and you'd said to me, I think I found this space.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the rent idea.
Yeah. And then I was sitting at the airport because you were still down in Melbourne, and I had like a really long layover.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there, and I was sitting in the Uber ride on the way to the airport, like, maybe it's just not going to happen. Maybe I just need to let this go. Maybe it's not the right time, you know. And so I Salon rising to myself. And I sat in the airport with my piece of paper and I drew my little salon, and I wrote Jen Salon across the top, and then I wrote everything that I wanted it to be, and not just what I wanted it to look like, but it's like it had to be no further north than this, no further south than, like I literally did north, south, east and west and went round the whole thing. It's like no further north than this far, no further south than this far, no further west than this.
Yeah.
I did how it felt, how big it was, how much it cost me, everything.
Yeah. And people don't understand, like when you hear the next part of this for Jen, it's so important to get full clarity of that.
For sure.
Full clarity gives you this sense of peace that you're like, nope, like nothing. You don't hold on to anything else until it encompasses all of that.
Yeah.
I remember us doing that with exactly this space. We did the same thing, couldn't find anything. And then the time we did that, we found everything. Exact process. We saw everyone wanted windows and trees and everything, separate basin room. So it was really, really distinctive. But I did that with my first house. I will do it with every further decision. Funny enough, Rich, when he came over one year from London, he and Sarah went back and did that for the life that they want, and they have that now. It's really important to really get visual.
It's so powerful.
It's so powerful, really visual on what you want. I did it. I would like to say that I manifested my beautiful man into my life, because the same thing.
Yeah.
Everything that I was really important to me, it manifested in. And it's not always it was pretty much every single thing with him, but the things that it wasn't were always, there were negotiables anyway.
Yeah.
And then also some of the things that doesn't come to pass that you think you want, there's a reason behind that.
Exactly.
So
right.
I remember saying that I wanted a partner that I met to have a really big family. And then when it came to it, I was like, I don't have time for someone else's big ass family.
Yeah.
So you've also got to trust that when you put these things down, they will come to pass how they're meant to. And
how they're meant to.
100% did for
but
you.
then it's such a so the next morning I woke up, and it's really funny. Like, I'd looked at all these places and I'd been going through business brokers and stuff like that. And then on Facebook Marketplace the next morning, as I was looking for a cheap car for my 16-year-old who's got to learn to drive, I found this expressions of interest. And the thing that really got me about this one is that I had written in my little Gen salon that I just wanted it to feel a bit like a little Lacerella.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sent you that photo of even you were like, it's like a little Lacerella.
It is. It was like the end of once
Yeah.
the finished result of what our last salon was before we moved here. Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So yeah, and then we began the journey of buying a salon.
So yeah, in that, guys, it wasn't even 24 hours later. Like that,
No, it wasn't.
It came up and you didn't look for it. It just presented itself. So in all areas of all aspects of life, this is why we speak so hard on really, and it's not what a manifesting, whatever anyone says, but it's a mindset piece.
Yeah.
If your mind is really clear on what you want, then it's like nothing else clouds it and it can be presented to you the way that you want it.
It's such a mind, I was going to say fuck. Everybody knows we swear on here. It's such a mind fuck though, like I found, because it did present itself, but there's been so many challenges along the way that you're like, is this not right? But then it was actually my acupuncturist who said to me, she's like, no, it's just reminding you that you can do hard things. That's all it is. It's just that it's reminding you that you can do the hard things to get there.
I like, even at points for me with you with this, I was like, is this like you are having to push so hard for this?
I know.
But like I was like, I never experienced when I bought Lacerella like 15 years ago, I never experienced. I remember just being like, I need money, and the bank was like, here you go. And then we moved forward and I bought the Salon.
Oh my God.
Like
It's
2 weeks
so
later,
not
and
been
that
like
was
that.
done, you know, but I definitely think there's instances like that.
And I think what kept me going in that time, and I think it was that you that said this to me, because I had been what happened is that I've been working out of the space as we've been going through the buying process anyway. The person who's selling the salon to me has moved 10 hours away. So I've moved in and just started working from that space, and then we've just slowly been going through it. It's how I feel in the space that has kept me going, to feel like, no, this is the right thing, even when I just keep bashing myself against brick walls and again, it's not the seller per se. Like, she's been amazing. It's all I don't know how people in the corporate world get anything done.
Okay, let's rewind it back then, because we're going, okay, so you found the space, you went and saw it.
Yep.
You loved it.
Loved it.
And then it's the process of getting the funds.
Yeah.
Getting to the funds, the lease sorted, and then dealing with broker, weren't you? No, the broker. So the
brokers,
the bank.
yeah, the broker was dealing with the bank, the solicitor to do the contract of sale, and the company that look after like the lease, the lease agreement.
Yeah.
All of those people are not on my Christmas list.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
and that's the difference between it being easy or it not being easy. Remember, like, at the end of the day, my landlord was the most extraordinary human in my last place.
Oh, he was incredible.
He was incredible. So at the end of the day, it was all really easy and we just went through his lawyers, done, dusted. I had a lawyer. It was easy.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle, you finish, you move in. I don't know though. I was 23. I don't know if at 23 I would have had the perseverance to do what you've done. You know what I mean? So I think that at the end of the day,
I feel like there's a real lesson in this for me though, because I realized in talking to people that the experience I was having with some of these people is really not okay.
Yeah.
And as you know, like, you always give me shit about my wedding ring. It's like, hey, you like your wedding ring yet? And it's that same thing. Like, there's so many things where
just so everyone knows, Jen doesn't. She had it designed, and then when she picked it up, it was nothing what she wanted, and she said nothing.
I didn't have it designed. I had it changed. I had a stone put in it, and when I picked it up, they had put it in the wrong place and completely ruined my ring, and I've never been able to look at it again. And it's so sad because it's such a beautiful ring.
Never said it. So every time she looks at it, she's just like, it's not what I want. So we're coming to interesting conclusions that Jen needs to speak up.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of and I think too, is a service-based industry, right?
Yeah.
I swear if these people had Google reviews, they would not have jobs.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, the level of service from not a service-based industry is disgusting.
I find this, I love that you talked on this, because the other day I was talking to a client about, I have been unwell, getting really bad kidney infections and things like that lately. I ended up in hospital for them. And
Kidney retreat.
my kidney retreat. You know how you I just need to have a little accident, so I end up in hospital for a couple of days. Nothing bad, but just that's exactly what happened to me. But so many doctors just you kept waiting, you just flobbed off. What they tell you is not, and you just walk away and you expect it to be bad and you just pay it and you move on. Whereas a hairdresser,
we can't do
gives
that.
you a warmer color than what you wanted, and we get absolutely destroyed for it. We had a 1-star review come through from a guy who we didn't answer him in the morning within an hour, and just went absolutely postal. But so many businesses that don't have Google reviews can treat you so shitty. This lawyer, this body corp company, the bank, but we're just muzzled because there's nothing to say. But yet other businesses like us, or a small restaurant or a small cafe, or we get absolutely destroyed by people who think that they can do that.
I feel like it's those people that actually are writing those reviews.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone who works in a service-based industry that is on the receiving end of those reviews does what.
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
it's the people that, because I tell you what, I don't understand what it is where people just don't do their job.
Yeah.
Why can't people just do their job?
So Jen, to get the finances, Jen went through a broker because it was going off your mortgage and stuff like that.
Well, no, it's not. It's just that they can secure it against it. So it's not off my mortgage or anything like that.
Yeah, but it secures against your mortgage when the bank takes it, so that it's because you're really asset rich. So it comes off that type of thing, doesn't it?
The chauvinistic behavior that I have experienced in small business lending is disgusting. So I would love to know if a man would be asked, and can I just say, my business loan is really small.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things,
it's nothing.
It is really, really small.
Yeah.
And so for example, some of the questions that I've been asked are oh gosh, but you work in 2 jobs. How are you planning to juggle that? And I'm like, are you going to ask a man that?
Yeah.
So even to the point where, and I have to be really careful, but being rung by the manager and being like, yeah, cool, I'm just with a client. So I can't talk right now. And really lucky that I was with a client. Otherwise, on that day especially, Jen probably would have gone postal. And just being like, yeah, so I probably let you go. You've probably got something with the kids or something. It's like, no, mate, I'm at work. And you want to talk about what's hard to juggle? It's hard to juggle all the bullshit that you keep sending me.
I find this, I think about it in my head. It's really sometimes about who you know, right? So my business,
it absolutely is. Yeah. And the irony afterwards is why did I do it this way? There are so many people that I should have spoken to, but that's the lesson here, I think. It's okay, I know exactly who you're thinking of. That's someone I should have contacted. Ange, who we've worked with on the pod before, who comes from small business lending, but also talking to those people afterwards made me realize that what I was putting up with was not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Because my bank manager was one of my was a client, is a very close friend of mine now. But I also think it's interesting. So she's very, very, very high up in the bank that I bank from. I'm not going to say names. It's an amazing bank. I could highly recommend it. I'll just say it because I've had amazing experiences. So I'm with NAB banking, and I've been very lucky that she's always taken the most incredible care of me. But as she's progressed, she's very high up now. But I think it's being led by a woman.
Well, that's what it comes down to.
The men underneath her are so I now deal with the men underneath her, but the men underneath her have been incredible.
But And that's what Ange said too. It comes down to leadership.
Yes.
So the leadership that I have experienced in this process
Horrific.
has been horrific.
Yeah.
Ironically, at the time when I'm doing leadership in my master's.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the thing that was really throwing. It's like I knew that it was a lot to be asking of myself to be trying to do work and buying a business and doing a master's at the same time.
And working at Salon.
But dealing with the constant barrage from them was a full-time job.
You were like, they're asking me for this now, and now they're asking me for this, and then they've said this, and I'm like,
and things that were not even relevant. And it comes down to that lack of leadership, like not having that leadership to say, oh, that's actually not relevant.
All, like in perspective, when you say I didn't pay a lot for it, it's like a medium car these days.
Oh, I tell you what, I could have gone in and bought a car and had that finance for the same amount in an hour, I reckon.
Yeah.
And moved on with my life.
So how long's it been since you looked at it?
So August, September, October, well, it's November, so 4 months.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I said all I want for my birthday is my salon.
Oh, yeah. All right, so it's been since that education, so mid-August.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And then the real estate wouldn't deal with you.
Oh, so yeah, and that's still ongoing. And again, I've got to be really careful about this because that person is now in charge of my lease for the next 3 years. But
yeah,
what incompetence.
Yeah.
Like next level incompetence. And just refused to, has only to this day, and I have been contacting this person for 3 months now.
Yeah.
Has only started responding to me since last Friday, which was when my first rent was due.
See, again, it's like the disrespect of people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to show you anything yet because I'll wait until you do your dues first. It's just
But it was such a challenging situation because I had this solicitor that refused to talk to the real estate because apparently that's not his job. I'm not 100% sure what his job was.
The solicitor was also horrific.
Yeah.
And considering that your sister-in-law and your cousin are both solicitors but in different sections of the law.
Yeah. Well, the hard thing was that my sister-in-law had recommended this solicitor to me. And so but again, it's a lesson because we know that past Jen would have just not said anything because we don't want to upset anyone and we don't want to do and just let it all just fall apart around us. Whereas I was like, no, I'm going to call my sister-in-law, bawling my eyes out, call in the big guns and get her to fix it for me. And she did, you know, whereas that's not something that I would have done before. Like, no, I have to muddle through. And
2 lessons in that. So A, Jen, people will help you speak up. And B, you don't have to do it on your own. Go to the people that can help you.
Absolutely.
Like we think we don't need to do this. Like we need to, like there are people in these specific jobs. Like,
I think it's what we do though that reminds me of that. And again, when we were away on our mastermind weekend and we were talking about that's when we were talking to the girls and it's just like, this has just been a nightmare and the solicitors and then hearing some of the experiences that they had with their solicitors. It's like, yeah, see, it's not okay what you've done.
No, it's not.
Other people are having experiences that are amazing and how you're behaving and the service you've provided is not okay.
It's exactly what we talk about when we talk about Paris.
Oh, absolutely.
My accountant, for anyone who doesn't know, because everyone knows who Paris is
Everybody
these days.
knows who Paris
Everyone
is.
knows who Paris is. But it's exactly the situation with Paris.
Yeah.
Like not all accountants are created equal.
And I mean, God love that woman because for example, this is a great example of just some of the fuckery I had to deal with to the point where I was actually sending her emails called finance fuckery.
Yeah.
So as we've spoken about in the pod, Paris used to be oh my God.
Drink your tea. Sip.
The lingering whooping cough. Paris used to be at a firm which she had moved on from. So when it came tax time, she was just getting set up. It's like, do mine, obviously, because I work for myself, so it's a bit more convoluted. But she's like, just do Tim's in the ATO portal. It's really easy. Follow what I've done. You'll be fine, which we did. So when we had to supply tax returns, as you do when you're doing any form of finance, The one was a PDF, which was originally from the past firm that we used to be with, and the other one was the PDF from the government website. You know, the government tax website? And it wasn't accepted. Do you know why?
Because it didn't look the same.
Because they didn't look the same. Not because in any way the numbers on them didn't match, but because they did not look the same.
I wish we could say what bank you went with and we'd just burn them to the ground.
I know.
But it's just like, it's not NAB because NAB's amazing.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. So I then had to, anything that I needed, Paris is like, just send it, because it's like now they want it to look the same. So I had to get her to put it through her Xero so that it looked the same.
Oh my God. But
not
again,
change any information.
Thank God for accountants. And the good customer service. We spoke about this.
I know.
So I have an amazing lawyer as well. Funny enough, she's Jen's cousin, who is the greatest human, who supports me massively. But she's the same with Paris, and now Paris and my lawyer love each other. But it continues to build people's when they're in big corporations like this and they don't have those leadership abilities, they don't have someone that's strong in leadership at the top, or they don't have someone or it's someone like a solicitor who doesn't know leadership and just running their business. It's just the reason why businesses get successful is because the person at the top is a leader and knows how to lead and support a team, at which point they flourish.
And that's, to just sidestep a little for a second, with all the leadership studies I've been doing in my master's as well, I see that so clearly in these situations. And we had this conversation about how, leadership, the difference between leadership and management is that ability to be able to manage the human aspect as well as the financial and strategic aspect.
Yeah.
And what I have seen from the alleged leadership skills of a lot of people that I've dealt with in this process is they're not leaders, they're managers. They don't know how to manage the human aspect.
So let's put a positive sprinkle on it then. This has been able to really, considering you're doing this, buying a salon, working, doing your masters, and you're in leadership in masters at the moment, it's really been able to give you the growth moment in looking at different scenarios.
I did not want to grow a couple of weeks ago. I was like, fuck this.
None of us want to
growing.
We're done.
This is so shit.
Jen and I laid in bed at 2 a.m. on the mastermind just talking because we hadn't caught up in so long, and I was just like, I don't want to grow anymore. I just done. I'm tired. Let me learn all my lessons and just stay the fucking peaceful. But it just doesn't.
Yeah. And I'm definitely starting to feel more grateful for them now. And I can't, I'm trying really hard at the moment to not focus on those couple of people that have made it such a shit journey, because I have had amazing people who have really, really supported in every aspect. Obviously great friends and family, my sister-in-law who just totally went in and bulldozed this. She's just a force to be reckoned with and so supportive. And then the, our reps are incredible. Our accountant is incredible. I've had a software company that's been super helpful and all that sort of thing. So there's been people that have really been amazing in the journey, and I just need to focus on them and not worry about all those other fuckers.
And it's been so funny because obviously it's been 4 months, so we've had podcasts that we've done ever since.
Yeah.
And when we did a podcast not long ago at the beginning stages of this, and it was talking about how important it is to take ownership and to rebrand.
Yeah.
And Jen had never, initially she was never going to rebrand, and she listened to that episode and she was like, I'm going to rebrand.
Yeah.
And then one day I just got this
barrage.
I was like, it's the word barrage. Barrage of messages with all these different names. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to call it. And I was like, no to all of them. I was like, I love you, but no, I don't think you should. I don't think it should be personal. I think you should, at that point you were
But there's such a personal story behind the name. It's just not personally associated with my name.
Which is exactly what Last Roller is. But I just said to Jen, I think I like, and each their own. People call it after themselves all the time, and things like that. But you know, I said to Jen, I know where you'll want to go eventually with this, and it's not always going to want to be completely attached to you, because when you attach it to your own name, it's a little bit harder. If you attach it to a personal name, Jen wasn't even going to attach it to her own name at that point. She was thinking about attaching it to her daughter's, and I was just like, it makes it confusing. So we kind of talked through it, and then Jen came to the name, which is
August Hair Co.
Yeah. Why?
Many years ago, I was on an aeroplane watching a movie called August Rush.
Yeah.
I love this movie so much. It's about a musical prodigy child. My children are literally musical prodigies. And I bawled my eyes out, and I sat there, and I felt at the time it was perhaps an emotional response to have to a movie, but it's like, whatever. It's like, if I have a child, I'm going to call them August. And then I found out I was pregnant with my son, and my husband was like, there is no way on God's earth you're calling my child August.
I love the name August.
So then when the other main character in that movie's name was Lila. So then when I found out I was having my daughter, I wanted to call her Lila, and he's like, it's a no from me, but I'm going to meet you halfway and we'll go Isla. So this time it's like, I'm giving birth to my first business. Can I finally have my August? He's like, you can. It's amazing. Not that he's dictating what I call it, but he's like, it's so good. And then when we looked up what it meant, he's like, I think it sounds amazing. It's like August Hair Co. because I've got a cosmetic nurse that works in the space as well. So I wanted to have like, there is other stuff.
Yeah.
But August, the meaning of August is respected and impressive.
Aww.
And it's like to be an August company is to be an respective and impressive company.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah, I really like that. And it's sat, and I really feel comfortable.
And you sent
with
through,
that
and I was
name.
like, yes, all right.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very important to name it something that sits like, that feels like this, you know, like people say, why La Sorella? And it's got so many strong meanings behind it. If anyone doesn't know, it means my sister in Italian. So many strong links to like females, to my sister, to an ode of sisterhood in here, all of the things.
So I think it's the traveling pants.
100%. I think it's really important to have a name that it's very connected to, because it is part of your why.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is definitely part of my why.
Yeah. So looking back, we know you would have changed your bank, your solicitor. You couldn't have changed the other people. But looking back, not knowing those things, what would have you done differently apart from changing a solicitor in your bank? Anything?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like everything else, it's just been that process.
So there was one bit in this process I remember, you know, because it's been a long process. I was sitting on Burleigh Hill with Albs, and I got a message from Jen, a voice note, I think, and you were like,
I pulled the pin.
It's doubled.
Yeah, the price doubled.
And I was like, what? And Jen said, yep, like I'd kind of come to the agreement. I knew how much I could spend. I offered, but now the next day it's doubled.
See, I felt really calm and comfortable in that space.
You did.
Because I knew exactly what I was willing to do, and I wasn't going to be emotionally driven by that. And my husband was super emotionally driven by it. He was like, oh my God. I'm like, no, this is how much I am going to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
I know the numbers because I know how to do the numbers. I know how to work that all out. And I know that this is how much we can pay for it.
I think when you said that, that's so important, because I've spoken to people in the past and of people that are going in to buy a salon, they're talking about, you know, should they do some mentoring before they buy, blah, blah, blah. They have no idea what the numbers. They don't know what it makes every week. They don't know what the clientele number is. They haven't seen the tax returns. They pretty much are like picking it up and passing it to an accountant or lawyer and saying, is this okay?
Yeah.
And none of that is okay, because for me, if I was buying a business, I would be looking at every single number and going back and forth. What is this? What is that? What is this? Because at the end of the day, yes, to a point, if you're buying a lower price business, it's not exorbitant. If you were buying anything, spending anything substantial, you have to know what every number is, because You are buying the clientele.
I almost went backwards. It's more that smaller size thing. It was the fact that it's like, you can tell me all this stuff, but you can't guarantee that.
Yes.
So what I will pay is based off what I am comfortable to know that if none of that eventuates, I'm still comfortable with how much I paid.
And that's more in the space of Jen was comfortable with paying for just the space.
Yeah.
I'm happy with just the space. If I just get the space
if I just
for
walked
this,
into that space and I had that beauty room with that option to rent. I had a space to be able to work on my own clients, and I knew that I could make that work if nothing else worked. Then that's what I was comfortable with. And that's why I was absolutely not going to spend a cent more.
But if you're spending any more than that, where you think I have to make this much in order for the business to run and I've got to have all this staff and blah, 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 that's where you should know your numbers indefinitely, because even when they're like, oh, I'm going to hire another staff member and I'm going to do this. And I was like, you can't even tell me what it's turning over a week right now.
Yeah.
And if we don't know what it even turns over a week, how do we know how to make decisions based on what it needs?
But that's what I learned that from you. I do not make those decisions based on emotion. No. I was not being driven by fear or excitement. It was purely strategic.
Yes.
It's like, I know what this needs to be.
Yes.
So in that, and I was, it was like, okay, and I was no worse off to say no to that. It's like, I don't have to, I want to do this, but I don't have to.
Yes.
I'm in a position where I can keep working where I am.
Yeah.
Nothing has to change there. But it was nice because obviously a couple of days later she contacted me. She's like, I've had some time to think and I really want you to be the person that buys the business. So if you can meet me at that original price, then we're good to go. And I do get that because I know, especially having worked in the space with the owners for like a bit of time now, they loved that space. Like the only reason they let it go was because they had to move so far away. And so it was just that sort of like letting go lost piece for them.
It's like Under the Tuscan Sun.
Yes.
When she goes to buy the house and the lady's
exactly like
you're not paying enough for it. It double. And she was like, well, I can't pay double. I need my workers. Like, it's like the emotional attachment. Okay, well, I haven't charged enough. It has to be double now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd get that. If I sold La Sorella, like there would be so much emotional attachment to it that you're like, oh, how do you like hands off that as well?
And that's been a really challenging thing to navigate as well because I am going to change things in that space.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so hard to not, like just walking that line of not wanting to make someone feel rubbish about what they had.
Yeah.
But knowing that and I've been really lucky. We've had lots of open conversations about, and I was cautious. She's like, so what are you going to change? I was like, I don't want to do that, babe. I don't want to be like, the way it is shit. She's like, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the next step. Tell me what you're going to change. I'm like, the desk is moving. She's like, really? Where's it moving? It's like, it's
That's
going
the thing
over
though.
here.
I think I'd feel the same way. Like if someone came in here and completely flipped on its ass, I'd be like, well, what was wrong with it in the first place?
Yes, that's
like,
what I was
when
really
I sold
conscious
La
of.
Sorella, the original La Sorella, she just loved it so much that she didn't change anything until she changed the basins, and they were so much better. And then I was kind of like, why didn't I do that? Like, why did she have a better idea?
We had honed that space within an inch of its life.
No, but then she changed the basins, and the basins were beautiful when she changed them.
How did she change the basins?
I'll have to show you, but she ended up like painting the back wall and then building like this beautiful little bench like this. And like it was gorgeous when I was like, fuck, why didn't I think of that? Did a beautiful job on it. So, and I was like, damn it, you do think that. But that's the same thing. You're going to change the way it runs, the price list, how things are booked, everything. And also you had a hairdresser in there who's no longer in there.
Oh yeah, that is a whole huge situation that I cannot share on this podcast.
Yeah.
But it was a ride.
It was a
oh no, I haven't even told you what expanded on that situation since we last talked about
everyone that's listening to the podcast right now. I was like, Jen.
Fuck you, Jen.
But there was an instance in that. Funny enough, there was another side of this for Jen, but there was an instant in that where I said to her, would that be okay for La Sorella? And Jen said, hell no.
Yeah.
And I said, so then what makes it okay for August? And Jen was like, wake up call. I needed
Yeah.
that. So sometimes we have to remember that our standards need to be just as strong for ourselves as what they should be for our friends,
Oh, yeah.
because it's easy for us to be like, oh, no, well,
I think of that in so many decisions I've had to make since we had that conversation. And it's like, there's certain things it's like, I would never allow that to happen in your business. Never in a million years. So why would I allow that to happen in mine? So it's been a really profound little click in my brain to think about it like that, to be like, no,
yes,
that's not okay.
yes.
It's so interesting. But, you know, even with those things like changing stuff, it's so hard. And I really feel for the people in our programs now. Like it's been really good. It's been humbling to be like, you know, we sit there and it's like, no, you need to do this and you need to have respect for yourself and you need to have respect for your boundaries and all this sort of thing. And it's been like really niggly to have people just saying to me constantly, oh, well, you're going to have to do that. Like you're going to have to do it like that. It's like, I am not going to do it like that. And I've had a lot of that, about the services that I will offer and the way that I will do things and all that sort of things. It's like, it's taken so much to just stick to my guns and be like, no,
Yeah.
I don't work like that.
Because people have opinions on, you know, people still have opinions on the fact that hairdressers have to open a Saturday, they have to charge a certain amount, they have to work certain hours. Like there's still all of this, what they think is our glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I mean, having said that,
owner by owner, we're blowing that shit up.
I do work on a Saturday because for where I'm at in my life,
but it works.
I like working on a Saturday.
No, but I just mean in different, like,
in
but it's
all
that
different
factors. It's
but
like,
I did have someone say to me, it's so funny because I feel myself get my back up on all these things. I did have someone say to me, oh, well, you just have to open on a Saturday. It's like, no, I don't.
Yes.
I don't have to.
I will do what if I want to open between 1 and 4 on a Tuesday and that's it. That's all. And I want to charge $1,000 for that every second I work.
Yeah.
I will do that because it's my business. So if I don't make money, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
It's like people at this time of year that are like, you can't put your Christmas tree up. It's November. Bitch, it's my own house. I will do whatever I feel I want to do. It's nobody's business. There is no rule that says you have to put it up on December 1, otherwise you will turn into a pumpkin. Bitch, if I want to put my Christmas decorations up in June, I will because it's my life.
Exactly.
I think it's really important to stop putting those, I feel like they just keep putting the shadows around us. Oh my God, I have to. Rule book.
Yes.
This is what people are, and just going, no, this is my journey and I will make it how I want it.
And it's so funny. It's been a real life. No, like my husband is just the cutest. Like he is so excited about this journey. It's ridiculous. And you know, he's every day he's like, give me more cards. I need some more cards.
Aww.
Like, but I also had to sit down and have this conversation. It's like, you can't give these cards to everybody. Some people I am not going to do. Like this is do not give cards to someone who is on a budget. Do not give cards to someone who has this. That's not the people. We don't need to have everybody in the door.
No.
We just need to have the people that really want to come in the door.
Yes.
And that is like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I am sure. Stay the course. We're going to be okay.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, oh, I haven't even been up and seen it yet, but life is like the days you're open are the days I'm open.
Yeah.
And then you're not open the days I'm not open. And then when we're not open, we're here. I was like, the next pod we need to do there.
I know. I actually thought driving down this morning, I was like, I should have said we should do it there.
We could have totally done it today.
About it.
I was thinking that myself this morning. We need to do a pod there then. There we go. Because I need to get in and see it. And
let me get my new front desk first.
But from one salon owner to a new, very new one.
Yes.
I'm very excited for you.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to be on this road with you through the ups and downs.
Highs and lows.
And obviously Jen's been in salons for so long. She's done this for so long. But even for me now, I'm like, I look forward to you ringing me that day and being like, oh, I had no idea. I watch this from the outside, but actually experiencing it, this is fucked. And I'm like, I'll be like, Welcome, my friend. Do you want to burn it down today? Yes, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because we all get to those moments and we have those moments of like, you know, utter joy and then moments of utter devastation.
Yeah.
But we are all excited for you. So everybody, please make sure it's not changed to August yet.
Oh, it
Or
has
might be by
it
this
has
pod.
changed. Hopefully I will have control of that change by the end of this week.
Yeah.
But by the time this comes out, it's totally changed.
Okay, so August Hairco.
Yeah.
Jump on, give Jen a follow, say hi. She'll be so excited to see you
I
over
will.
there.
I definitely will be.
And yeah, it's really also exciting from this point of view to, you know, as Jen has said, she's implemented so much that we do in Salon Rising.
Oh, for sure.
Anyway, but to be able to, again, look at that, foster that, see how she's moving through that, because it just allows us even to create more
It really does.
for people that are going through it and how we can assist someone buying a salon or someone being brand new.
I think it does so much to have the two businesses under the Salon Rising umbrella and have them in two such vastly different stages is only a good thing for what we can offer and provide people.
Agreed. Because, you know, those new businesses, as Jen goes through hers being a new business owner, you know, she will be able to provide so much insight to the little things she's feeling that I've potentially forgotten over, you know, but I think, it's an exciting new journey. We're very excited for you.
Thanks, babe.
And we're looking forward to how this shit show unfolds as every salon owner feels at times. It's a beautiful, terrifying, fucked up journey, but we're all here for it.
Yeah.
So congrats.
Thanks, babe.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.